leaves, but good for them. They don't have waru, potatoes.
No, the heat can't allow.
The heat can't allow.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Edward. Who else wants to talk to me? Stephen Gaiti. At least leo amekumbuka kubadilisha jina. Stephen Gaiti, how are you? Tibebu, Ngendo, or yes, Lillian. Hi, Steve.
Yes, how are you?
Leo uko kwa ofisi.
Leo niko kwa ofisi.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. How is the going?
The going is good.
Are you in the office in Embakasi? Ama you are
Yes,
in which
yes.
office?
Yes, I'm in Embakasi. Very cold here. You can see the way I'm dressed.
It's not as warm.
It's cold. Yes, I'm here. I say the end of a matter is better than the beginning.
Aki.
Yes.
I totally agree with you. So,
yes.
karibu sana.
What about the notes? How are we going to get these notes combined?
You've not already gotten them, like part of them?
Okay. Whenever we are going on with the discussion, I see there are attachments in the chat.
Yes.
Are you able to download this after the meeting?
Yes, like we've sent you an email with a bunch of notes, like from session 1 to session 4. So after today, we'll send you for 5 and 6.
All right.
Together with the recordings as well.
I'll try to download.
Sawa sawa. Thank you so much, Stephen.
Thank you.
As we wait for a few more people to log in and then we start, who wants to talk to me? Williams. William? Anyone who wants to talk to me? Lillian, how are you?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
Very fine. You are on the road?
Yeah, today I'm on the road, yes.
Oh, today you're on the road?
Yeah.
or somewhere you headed to?
Limuru. I'm headed to Limuru, but I'm coming from outside. Yeah, I'm just from Kiambu, so I'm headed to Limuru.
Oh, you are just coming from Kiambu. Ungesimama unisalimie.
Oh, you understand that Kiambu?
Yes, yes.
Nice. Now that I know, I think I'll be stopping by.
Sawa. Anytime we are around Kiambu Road, you give me a call.
No problem.
Awesome. Awesome. You drive safely, but you also listen to us.
Definitely, I'll be listening.
Okay. Someone else? Anyone else wants to talk to me? Caro Baraza. There are some people who have not talked. Caro Baraza, Boniface Jenga. Also ask your colleagues to join as we wind up today's topic. So we start in a few minutes. So grab some water, grab some tea. All right, I think we start now. Is that okay? I see we are 15 of us. Do we start? Someone can give me the go ahead. Then we start. All right, let's start then. Good afternoon once again. Very happy to be here this afternoon and also to finish up the course. It has been 3 long weeks, but I hope all of us have learned and picked something from different learning sessions, different facilitators who have helped us to cover different topics. So it's my hope that this afternoon, as we wind up on the topic on sales and marketing, today is a topic that is very close to us as human beings, and they help us either to manage our own emotions in terms of mental health. It also helps us manage different relationships with different people. So I'd like to welcome you all as we discuss different aspects of the topic around mental health, conflict management, and interpersonal and public relations. So I don't think I need any introduction. I've been with you throughout, so I don't think I'll need any introduction. So however, if anyone is joining us for the first time, which will be very unfortunate, my name is Purity Wanjiro. I train a lot at Accurate, but not as much as I used to when we were starting. But I'm very privileged this afternoon to be able to take you through this particular course. So I've segmented this topic for today into 3 parts. The first one will talk about interpersonal skills. The second part will talk about public relations. And the last part will talk about mental health, how to manage stress and also conflict. So for me, my most basic question, what is interpersonal skills? Or how do we understand interpersonal skills? Anyone? What do we understand by interpersonal skills or what do we think interpersonal skills is? Anyone, talk to me. Yes, Jessica, interacting with other people in what is ideally healthy and constructive way. Very good. And you will see, like at a workplace, we cannot coexist with one another without the aspect of interpersonal skills. So for me, I'll want us just to see what I have prepared here. One, I've given it 2 different definitions, and depending on how you view it, one could make more sense to you than the other. However, for me, interpersonal relationship refers to social and emotional interaction between 2 or more individuals in an environment. And you see, at the workplace, like Amiran, that's an environment in itself. So how you relate or you interact with the other person in the social and emotional aspect. Because I see a lot of us either, and we'll also see as we continue with this discussion, some of the causes of conflict is how you feel like someone did not talk to you the way they should be able to talk to you, or they did not regard you in a certain manner or in a certain way. So you have to take care of the social part and the emotional part whenever we talk about interpersonal relationships. Then the other one, interpersonal, we can also define it as an association between individuals who share a common interest and goals. And you see, for example, I want to assume all of us are the fact that we work in different like sub-departments, all of us are sales. You know, it doesn't matter if you're doing greenhouse, you're doing seeds, you're doing fertilizers, but all of us are sales. And you see, if we say all of us are sales, then it makes the sales bit to be an interest that is common to all of you. It makes you to have one similar goal, which normally is hit your targets at the end of the month, or at the end of the quarter, or at the end of the year, depending on how performance is measured. So there are different, so these are two major definitions. One is social and emotional. The other one is common goals and interests. So moving on, we'll see there are different types of interpersonal relationships, clearly. And I see with a lot of people, we are almost two different people, or 3 or 4 different people in one person. The way you interact with people at church could be very different at how you interact with your neighbors. It could be very different how you interact with your own family. It could be so different with how you interact with your colleagues at work. It could be so different also how you interact with strangers, you know. So this is the space of interpersonal relationship. Acknowledging that you're one person, but your relationship with other groups or other people, depending on the environment, might keep changing from one time to the other. So the most common types of interpersonal relations include friendships, like with our friends, with our family, definitely, like we relate in a different way. Professional relationship, like the ones that we all have at Amiran, those are professional. And then we have social. And I know someone will ask, is there a difference between friendships and social? I believe, like, lately, today, yesterday, and maybe before the day yesterday, there was a whole circus around Naivasha. You see, those people that maybe if you go to Naivasha and meet with them, I don't think they're really your friends, but they fall in the category of social. The fact that now you have one common goal or one common interest, the WRC, then that becomes something that you'll want to relate with. So these are some of the different relationships that we normally have when it comes to interpersonal relationships. So let's be aware of who we are and how we interact with the different relationships based on the different categories. Moving on, I had prepared a group work. I don't know if today we are up for a group work or we move on to the discussion. What do you think, guys? Do you do a group work, or are we okay? Jessica says, I think main group discussion is better. All right. So I think I'll open this up now to anyone. Why do you think interpersonal relationship is important? Why do we think interpersonal relationship is important? Anyone? And also, when at it, you can also tell me what do you think are some of the barriers to interpersonal relationship? So you can pick any, either why it's important or what hinders interpersonal relationship. Anyone? You can talk to me, you can send it on the chat box, I don't mind. Let's start with Andrew. Andrew, where are you?
Yeah.
Yes, give me an importance or a barrier to interpersonal relationship.
The main importance is that you find somebody who is more experienced in a certain sector. And you can use that experience at least to share with somebody who is not really experienced, at least to nurture.
Nurturing.
Yeah.
All right. I really like your importance. So for experience purposes, let me just note them down so that I can refer to them at a later point. For experience, someone else, Carol Baraza. Johnston, Joseph Kimanzi, anyone? Kennedy, just fat. Stephen Gaiti. Okay, Tibebu, it's to get really information from farms. I think that's the importance of interpersonal skills. Yes, Stephen.
Yes, I think interpersonal relationship is important because it will determine your output
Yes.
in terms of maybe your professional career. We have seen people who have made career, they have excelled in career out of having what maybe you may call the friendship or the social, especially the people in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
It also it can also affect your performance. If your relationship, interpersonal relationship, does not augur well with the people you are relating with, it can also affect your performance, especially as a salesperson, because we relate with the people daily. They are customers, they are consumers of our products.
Yeah.
So I think it affects your performance generally.
Definitely. Have you thought about any barrier?
Yeah.
Tell me.
One of the barriers could be what we call emotional intelligence or managing your temperament.
Emotions.
Yes. And also the way we solve problems, the way we handle problems from the customers or from any group of persons, it can also be a barrier.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
I think so. I totally agree with you. Thank you so much, Stephen. Anyone else, either with an importance or a barrier? Edward, Stella, Paris, Victoria, William, someone talk to me. Okay, Carol, it's important because it underpins people's ability to work together and for the business to function well. Thank you very much for those of us who have contributed. So you see, from the very basic examples we've been given just a few minutes ago, one is on experience. With good interpersonal relationships, especially at the workplace, you are able to exchange experience easily, you know, like, and I believe all of you know each other in terms of your strength. And you can comfortably tell someone, if you want something, talk to Stephen. If you want something, if you want another thing, talk to Lillian. If you want another thing, talk to Andrew. That's the power of, or the importance of interpersonal relationships. Also, it makes information circulate easily. Have you ever seen an organization? I don't know if this happens in your organization, but there are some organizations, they only communicate on email. Even if they are desk mates or they sit in the same office, someone will feel very uncomfortable standing up and going to their desk and asking, by the way, what did you mean? Instead, they will want to have all that conversation on email, copying everyone else. So I think that could also be a barrier. You know, the fact that it's not working for you, then it means it is a barrier for you. Then the other one is, I know Stephen has mentioned issues to do with referrals, growth opportunities. You know, your output becomes better if you have a better interpersonal relationship. Then, and also the issue of performance. I believe our teams excel better if and when the interpersonal skill is on point, you know, like everyone knows what is happening at all times. On the downside of it, in terms of barriers, I know our emotions really get into the way, especially when we talk about relationships. Whether it's intentional or unintentional, a lot of our emotions normally really get on the way of how we think, how we communicate, how we interact with other people. So I had listed down a few importance. So let's see what I had listed down. So for individuals, this is why it is important. It is important to you, one, for personal growth and development. if you are interpersonal, and I don't know, like from a HR perspective, because I've practiced HR for a while, I see when we are praising people, they indicate you need to work on your interpersonal skills. This is what they normally mean. Like you need to, because if you work on interpersonal skills, then you have an opportunity to grow as a person and also as a profession. It causes you a lot of joy if you are able to interact comfortably with everyone in your organization. Also, it creates a sense of security, the fact that you're never worried who is going to say what to who. Then it also creates a context of understanding. All of us are able to come from one perspective of understanding each other. Then you are able to fulfill your interpersonal needs. Interpersonal needs are like needs to associate with people, needs to be wanted, needs to interact with people. So you are able to fulfill all that. Then the next one is establishing your personal identity. In Kenya, I know it's very common to hear a saying that says, "Huyu ni mtu wa watu." What does that mean? Like your interpersonal skills are on point. So those are some of the importance of why we need to work on our interpersonal skills. Then next, I had listed down barriers to interpersonal relationship. I created 3 categories so that we are able to understand them separately. Sometimes they look as one, but normally it's not one. We have divided it in, normally it's into categories. One is situational, the other one is our own personal barriers, and the other one is social cultural barriers. So situational normally happens within an environment, like if you're put in environment A and environment B, most of the time you'll find these are some of the causes or barriers that are making interpersonal relationships not work for you. One is complex interactions. Complex interactions could mean either in terms of job levels, someone is too senior to you or too low, you might want to think. So it creates a very complex interaction. The other one is large distances. I don't know if your organization faces this, but I will want to assume sometimes it does, or it does. The fact that some of your people are in Mombasa, some are in Nairobi, wengine mnaambia kwapi Lokichogyo, Lokichogyo, Loitoktok, all those areas. You see, you're not able to physically meet with your colleagues. So somehow this could also be a hindrance to your interpersonal relationship. Then the other one is lack of time. Almost all the time, or I don't think there's any session we have done since we started, like all of you are seated somewhere. Either someone is running to the next town to make a delivery, to meet a farmer and do all those. So time now becomes a huge issue in terms of this relationship. The other one is adverse environmental situations. It could be anything, when we talk about environment, it could be where either the office is located or where people are located. It's either inaccessible, and when you want to access, maybe people are not there because of the issue of time and all that. And then high density of an individual. How dense are they? Some people they're not good people, so that could also be a situational barrier. The next one is personal barriers. These personal barriers has to do a lot with you as a person or me as a person. Like these are my own barriers that make me and others not be able to have an interpersonal relationship. So one is fear of rejection. This one I really see it a lot, especially when you're trying to approach new people. You're like, I'm too afraid to approach or to make a conversation because you don't know how they're going to react to you. The other one is lack of flexibility, either in terms of the thought process or how we view things and our viewpoint of life and all that. The next one is ineffective communication. I know we started with the topic of communication when it started. So ineffective, it's either you're not listening attentively, or you're not giving feedback, or your message is not clear and all that. The other one is lack of honesty and trust. This could be on you as a person or on the other party that you are now supposed to be interacting with. Then the last one under personal barriers is feeling of insecurities. And a lot of us feel insecure because of so many things. You know, even myself sometimes, when I go to meet very high-end clients, you feel a bit insecure, you know, like you're not so sure how you are presenting yourself, the dress you worn that day, you're not very sure about it, and all that. Then the last one is social cultural barriers. And I believe this you meet a lot of it, especially if you interact with the masses, and your business model, you see it has to do a lot of with the public and the masses. So there's the cultural diversity. Either you don't come from the same cultural point of view, or you don't understand their culture, or even they don't understand your culture. There's a huge language diversity that's happening, especially if you are posted into an area that you're not a local, or you're not familiar with the local language. Then there's the social diversity. This has to do with a lot of classes. You hear people telling themselves, I'm an upper class, I'm a middle class, I'm a low class, others. And then ethnic. So ethnic is, we basically know what is ethnicity. So ethnic has also to cause a barrier sometimes. Some people don't want to interact with people either from one ethnic community or the other. So these are barriers, and normally I have a strategy. It's a cheat strategy. A cheat strategy to mean you can use these to work for you and not to work against you. You know, for example, under situational barriers, if you feel distance is such a huge issue towards your interpersonal skills, thanks to online, you know, you can have a Zoom meeting with your friends, with your family, with your colleagues, you know, you can do the videos so that distance stops becoming this obscure thing. You know, you would want to work against that for your own benefit. So try these points out. Try to work the reverse of it. If language is a barrier, why don't you either learn that language or get a local who is able to interpret for you, other than assuming I don't speak that language, hence I'm not able to talk or to interact with the people who speak that language. So that is under the interpersonal relationship. Any questions so far where we are at? Am I too fast? I hope not. All right, let's move on. Public relations. What is public relations? Anyone? What do you understand by public relations? Someone talk to me, please.
I would say it's the interactions between the general public. How you relate.
Sorry, come again. Come again.
Interactions between the general public or everyone else that you get to interact with. Generally.
Yes, 100%. You have summed it very well. It is interaction with the general public. You know, your farmers are your public. You know, your suppliers, any kind of relationship or alliances you have, that makes it public. Because all the people, all the staff that work for Amiran, that's a very inside or a very inner circle. So when you get out, when you talk about stakeholders, now that becomes the general republic. Even how you interact with the government, that is public, you know, public relations. How you interact with different veterinary, they're called veterinary doctors, or they're just called veterinary. I'm not so sure. So how you interact with all that, any person outside of your organization, then that makes it public. So let's have a definition of what is public relations, or what is PR. So PR, and I know many of us normally here, the PR of the president has written a speech, the PR of which organization is talking. So what is all this PR business? So PR is the practice of managing the flow of information between an organization or an individual to the public. So it is how you manage or even how information gets out of your organization to the general public. The aim of PR for any company is often to persuade the public, investors, partners, employees, and any other stakeholder to maintain a certain viewpoint about its leadership and its product. So you see, normally, as you've seen, like this PR has a lot to do with information sharing. And this information has to come from inside an organization to the outside or to the public. Normally, I don't think I've ever seen an advertisement by Amiran on TV. I'm not so sure, but I don't think I've ever seen one. So in case you run an advert on TV, then that will be PR, you know, getting information about a certain product or a certain activity that you want to do to the general public. So it has to be very, very controlled, because how information is received or perceived or digested by the public depends on how you share it in the first place. So that is PR for you. So moving on, we have a concept by Marston. Marston is I'll not call him a researcher, but a philosopher, yes, with a model that came from the 1900s, early 1900s. And he defined PR, or he used this model to elaborate what PR normally should look like. So if you can see my screen, you'll see it's written race, downwards, race, R-A-C-E. What race means when we come to PR is, one, research. Before you share any information outside of your organization, you have to do enough research about it. Then once you've researched, you've gotten your data, you've gotten the correct information, now you take an action. You ask yourself, what kind of action do I need to take? Do I need to write a memo? Do I need to write a message, a WhatsApp group message? Do I need to write a circular? Do I need to come up with an advert or a poster, all that? Then you decide on the action that you take. Then the next step is C. Once you've researched information, you've gotten the right information, you've decided how you want to disseminate this information, then the next step is to communicate. Because if you don't communicate, all the efforts you've done at R and A becomes very useless steps that you have done. So the next bit is to communicate. And today we have so many channels of communication. You know, you can give someone a call, you can WhatsApp them, you can write them an email, you can share on social media and all these places. So the next step is communicate, which is very important. The last bit, which I know many of us don't do, is evaluate how our information has been received by the intended public. You know, because if you ran an advert and you expected maybe 100,000 people to have seen it, they have seen it. What was the reaction? Was there increase in sales? Was there a change in attitude or perception about your product? So that is RACE for you, R-A-C-E, research, action, communicate, and evaluate. So moving on swiftly, these are some of the functions of PR. So whenever we are promoting PR, or whenever we insist, like an organization must have either a PR representative, or whenever we are relating with the public, this is what it means to be relating with the public. This is what PR does for any organization. Number one is promoting goodwill. I don't know if you've heard about goodwill. Goodwill is acceptability. You know, say for example, if I can't remember if it's Andrew who was saying he's from Mombasa. You want your product to be readily accepted by the masses in the region that you're operating. There's no such a bad thing like a product or a company doesn't have the goodwill of the community. They will sabotage you. You will close shop even before you are ready to close that shop. So the next one is promoting product, service, and the corporate image. So by having a good PR, when you're promoting your own services, you're promoting your own products, you're promoting the image of your company, and people easily now, the second point buys into the first point. If in the process of promoting your products, services, and the company image, then you get the goodwill of the community or the people that you are serving. The next point is corporate communication. PR helps us to have one standard way of communicating. At Amiran, this is how we communicate. This is how we send out memos. This is how we advertise for jobs if there are any. This is how we send circulars or information to our own farmers and all that. Then another function of PR is lobbying. Lobbying is now for example, if you're lobbying the government to either reduce tax on your products, if you have a good PR working for you, then you're able to do the lobbying, like getting the goodwill now from the stakeholders, like important stakeholders. The last one is counteracting negative publicity. Have you ever had, I'll give you an example of a person. Someone comes and tells you, Udaku, daku, daku, daku. Then you're like, no. That can't be purity you're talking about. That is what PR does for organizations. Even when you do a bad thing as an organization, people will stand by you and say, no. Amiran can't do that, or their products are not like that. But you see, by the time someone is ready to stand and forge for you, then you should have done your part or your bit of work in that space. So those are some of the functions of PR. Any questions so far up to that point? Am I moving too fast? Ama tuko sawa? All right. Moving on. I'm not so sure if yes is I'm moving too fast or we are okay. Jessica. All right. Oh, too bad. No. Everything is okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. We had today had prepared so many group discussions, but it seems that we are not able to do them. So let's just brainstorm around these questions instead of going to the groups. So the first question another question I had prepared was, what are some of the advantages of PR? Then the next question I had prepared, how do you use PR in our organization? So here, the second part I want us to ask ourselves, how do we use PR at Amiran? So someone give me an advantage of PR and then how we use it at Amiran. The floor is open now. John and Diego, talk to me, guys. Kennedy, Melly, Paulo.
Purity.
Yes, please, John.
Yes, as you say, PR, public relations. When
yes.
When it's used in the right way, basically through proper communication and maintaining very healthy relations.
Yes.
It almost opens every other avenue, whether it's linkages to customers, or whether it's introduction of new products,
yes,
whether it's mitigation of a problem that was existing. It's basically it's in the good tidings wherever we decide to do anything, or break ice wherever we want to communicate something that is a little bit difficult.
Awesome.
Whether ourselves or to the outside customers.
I totally agree with you. And John, how do you use PR at Amiran?
Actually, to grow a business, because every day when we wake up in the morning, our wish is that we come back with either more sales or a collection of models. So the situation is difficult. Like now, the way the weather is a little bit tricky. If I have a good PR, it's easier to convince my clients either to pay or to give me some business to sustain us. But if the relationship is not good, then it's difficult even to approach. He'll just tell you from far, "Hey, you imewaka sana, wacha tuongee next week."
I think so. Yeah. I totally agree with you. Thank you so much, John, for that. Let me get one more feedback or two on why we think or the advantages of PR and how we use it at Amiran. Anyone else who wants to go? Yes, Lillian.
Yeah, I hope I'm audible. So
yes.
For the PR, one thing I've realized that it's a major advantage for us is the link. There are farmers who we cannot get to, but through PR, through the social media and everything else, we get to know that there is a farmer who is deep inside, that we cannot really know about, but they really use our products a lot. So they link us up by providing the numbers, our numbers, and then we get to visit the farmer, we get to continue pushing ourselves, and feel the impact even in places that Amiran cannot get. So that PR has been a major link to us, to the farmers, to places we thought we would never really get. Like there are some places I didn't expect farmers are doing, people are doing farming, but through PR, a farmer reached out and there, you go there, and it's deep inside, but still get to get yourself. So yes, that's one thing I can say about linking us with farmers.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. One more person, Andrew. I see your mic is on together with Stephen Gaiti. Stephen, maybe you can go next.
Okay. Advantage of how we use PR in our organization is actually it helps us in customer retention. Yeah, because through PR, and actually in Amiran we have a PR department. It's doing a wonderful job in Facebook, on Instagram. Yeah, doing very well. And it's actually is an information highway because they are able to, our customers are, and even the members of the public, they're able to know of our products and all that. And coming back to customer retention is that our customers keep a track on our new products, what is new in the market and all that. And also there are those who have issues, they raise it in those forums and they are addressed and they are channeled to the concerned departments and solutions are found. So customer retention is key, and we have seen the PR doing exactly that.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. Andrew, I don't know if you had something to say.
Yes, I can add. Yeah, with PR, that was that brought it, has taken us to where we are now. Because with a good PR, we find that we are able to interact with most of our customers.
Yes.
We can go to their offices even without any booking. And they always give us priority because in the long run, it also builds the relationship.
Okay. Yeah. So let me ask, like this is a very general question. Do you think PR is the work of one person in an organization, or is the work of all of us?
All of us?
All of us, totally. As much as we have like a PR department, the work of PR is for all of us, not just one specific person. So I'll move on forward and see some of the advantages I had listed. One is credibility, like your organization is able to gain credibility. You know, someone can go back and verify and actually find like this organization or this company, it is legitimate. So that's the one advantage of PR. The other one is cost. I've had so many of you talking about linkages, introductions, referrals, retention. Just remember or think about it in this aspect. Had it not been for PR, you'll have invested more to gain more customers other than retaining the already existing customers. So I think another one is avoidance of clutter. What clutter means is a lot of noise, you know, because with PR, I think one, it involves a lot of noise. Like you have to be out there talking about your organization. But if used well, then you really don't need to be making all this noise. Then the next one is lead generation. And lead generation could be in terms of the linkages you're talking about, the partnerships, the referrals, the retention. Those are creating leads. Then the next one is ability to reach specific groups. For example, I know the fact that you're in the agricultural space, your biggest customer targets are farmers, you know. So you don't really need to go looking for white collar people. Yes, you have a specific group of people that you want to reach out. Then the last one is building an image. So that is advantages of PR. I'll move on to, let's see, uses of PR. Like I had asked you, how do you use PR in your organization? So from one organization or the other, they have various uses of PR. And as I've seen for you for Amiran, you majorly use it to grow the business, retain your customers, track your customers' needs in terms of new product development and all that. So another use of PR is one, how to handle customer complaints and redresses. A few weeks ago, I know we talked about, just give me a minute, please. Sorry for that. So I was saying a few weeks ago, we had the session on handling customer complaints. So you see, it's very related to PR, because how you end up handling your customers' complaints, then it will show the work or the efforts that you're putting in when we talk about PR. The other one is it gives us an opportunity to cement relationships with our customers. You see the way you're saying we want to track what our customers are doing, how the products they're using, they're doing and all that. This now, the PR now gives you an opportunity to cement those relationships. And that's why you'll go with a lot of confidence and ask, can you give me a referral? You know, Nancy the other day was saying, don't stay too long before you ask for a referral. You need to make sure that experience is still fresh in your mind, on the customer's mind, so that they remember who you are and they are able to easily refer you to someone else. The next one is, this one is very important to the service or the people who are in the service or hospitality industry. Every time you go to a hotel, a restaurant, they have a way of doing their own things. They are up there, very beautiful in uniforms and all that. That is the work of PR. The next one, it helps combat rumors and falsehoods. You know, earlier I had given the example, if your PR is good and someone goes out there, they hear a wrong thing about Amiran, the first thing they will tell you, that is not possible. Amiran cannot do that. So that helps to combat the rumors and falsehoods. The next one is confront and disclose facts in leading media. Today, we've seen media can actually bring down companies or even individuals. So when you have a good PR system going on, you don't want your company to get to a point where media can pull you down. So the other one is it gives you an opportunity to give the positive side of the story. As much as rumors are going on, these seeds are not germinating and all that, but you can also come up with your own story and say, this is what Amiran is doing for farmers in the coastal area and all that. The next one is capitalize on rumors to your benefits. And I don't know if you saw these a few months ago. I think should be a few months ago about Weetabix. Weetabix was saying you can eat Weetabix with beans, and it caused a whole circus online. You know, like how can you eat Weetabix with beans? Yet Weetabix took that opportunity to maximize on those rumors to their benefits. By the end of the day, companies like KFC, Coca-Cola, Mercedes, all these big companies had already tagged that thread of rumors. They were saying, actually, you can have your Weetabix driving a Mercedes. You see, that is now Mercedes, which is a car company, leveraging on rumors about another company. Totally different, you know. They were saying you can have Weetabix with KFC chicken. I was like, what is all this? But then at the end of the day, I went back and I was thinking, they're using PR in the positive way. Instead of allowing rumors to destroy them, they're using the rumors for their benefits. Then I think those 2 points are very similar. Rumors can be dismissed as ridiculous. You know, like that's example of Weetabix and beans. The fact that they made a joke out of it, then it becomes very easy to navigate all that. But it has to be very precise or very particular, because some PR initiatives actually have backfired on some people or some organizations. So that's PR for you. These are some of the disadvantages of PR. One, it's difficult to quantify PR benefits. You know, you can do a lot of things. You can be talking to people through and through, but you really can't say PR has benefited us up at 80% or at 90% or at 100%. It's very hard to quantify the efforts of PR. And sometimes I know then that puts the PR department on the spot. They're like, what work are you doing? We can't feel your impact. Then you say, yes, we can feel your impact. It's only that you cannot quantify it. The next one is lack of control. With PR, it doesn't have like a metrics. You know, you can't say we've done PR from level 1 to level 10. PR is just PR. You're just talking to people, maintaining these relationships. So there's no really way you can say we are really controlling PR. And the fact that it's public relations, a lot of the perception is in the public, you know, like people who are outside the organization. So you can't really know or say, I'm able to control this, how this information gets out or how this information is received by the other end. The last one is defeat. Defeat means skillful management required. I'm very happy to hear you have a PR department, because it means we have specialists or experts who are handling all that. Not everyone is doing the PR business for your organization. As much as PR is everyone's work, it has to come from one specific or one targeted place. I hope you understand that. Like there's someone who should be leading the PR initiative. As much as all of us are doing PR, someone needs to be leading that particular initiative. So any questions so far on PR before I move on? Talk to me, guys. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andrew, for that. So let us move on, not quickly, but let us move on to the last bit of our session today, and it's on mental health. You know, and Corona has come to us. Corona has brought a different dimension of life. You know, Corona has made a lot of people get into very depression or depressive states. I think even Corona has made some people to lose jobs, some families to disintegrate and all that. And by the end of the day, you will find like all this is coming down to our mental health. Joseph Njoroge, good PR can enable an organization counteract negative information from you. Yes, 100%. I agree with you, Joseph Njoroge. So as I was saying, with mental health, it comes in so many different dimensions, dynamics, different presentations. But for today, I want us to focus or concentrate more on stress management and conflict resolution, because you'll find to be in a healthy mental state does not mean you're not experiencing stress, and also it does not mean you're not handling or you're not facing conflict. Both of them are present, but how you handle them is what determines your mental health. I don't know, let me give an opportunity to someone to give us an instant they felt either they were stressed or they had a conflict. Anyone? The stress could be work-related or personal or education, whichever. Give us an example when you had a stressful situation or you are facing a conflict. Anyone? Johnson Mwangi, Meli, Paulo. Paulo, talk to me. The last class you talked, so I believe you can also talk today. Tibebu as well. Yes, Andrew.
Sometimes we find ourselves in a stressful situation. Yes. Especially customer probably has ordered some food and they are not delivered on time. Probably they are not a day before in the evening, then in the morning expected to be there. You see the fact the call from the customer. Because now you have to do the follow-up and you are hoping that otherwise if they have not left, that can be very stressful.
Okay. Yeah. When you're not able to meet a delivery or an order, that could be a very stressful situation. Thank you so much for that, Andrew. Let me hear from someone else, either a stress situation or a conflict situation. Victoria? Victoria, Paris? Boniface, Caro Baraza? All right, I hope you'll talk to me as we continue. Today being the last day, so okay, let's start by defining what's a conflict. A conflict is a struggle to resist or overcome a contest of opposing forces or powers. It's a struggle or it's a battle. Like conflict is almost like war. So there's something that is resisting, there's something that maybe you want to overcome, there's something that you're opposing. There are different powers, power plays in place. So that is conflict. So I've put different words for us to be able to understand what conflict is. So, but actually conflict is a state or a condition of opposition. When you're not able to see eye to eye with someone, that is normally a conflict. When you're not able to agree on a point, that is conflict. When you're both of you are not able to go in the same direction, then that automatically becomes a conflict. And it's antagonism, it is a discord, it's a painful tension set up between a clash between opposed and their contradicting impulses. So with conflict, you'll see there is one standpoint on one end and there's another standpoint on the other end. But to be able to to coexist peacefully, these two viewpoints need to come and become one. As much as they're different, at one point they need to meet and merge together. Our Victoria is asking, what's the clear cut between PR and marketing? I think both of them are related. Let me explain this to Victoria, and then I come back to conflict. I think these two are pretty much related or symbiotic. You know, when you do good PR, you're also marketing yourself. When you're marketing yourself, on the other hand, then you're also doing your PR. So I know sometimes you might say they are used interchangeably, but they are not. You see, with PR, we're more focused on how information gets from your organization to the outside of the organization. But with marketing, it's how you're able to close deals. You know, like how do you make your product known? How do you make it available at the marketplace? How practical or applicable are your products? That is marketing, you know. But someone will say, but we have a marketing department. A marketing department is very different from a PR department, because you'll see with PR, it also deals with customer complaints, you know, or the rumors or bad information, negative information that is in the public. But you see, marketing, they don't have any space for customer complaints. For them is to push the product, you know, making it available in the marketplace, making it like people know about it. That is the work of marketing. And like for PR, it's very controlled. Like the information going out is very controlled, very refined. So both of them are, someone could say that they can be used interchangeably. They almost do the same work, but they don't do the same work. I hope that is clear up to that point. Victoria, thank you. So going back to conflict. So as I was saying, with conflict, two different things going on at the same time. And you need to bring these two things to become one. As much as you are able to bring them to become one, the differences are still there. You know, like you can't, for example, someone in my house likes tea without milk, but I like tea with milk. So what do? We make tea with less milk. You know, that is conflict management. Wewe hutaki chai iko na maziwa, mimi nataka chai iko na maziwa mingi. But you want to cook it at the same time and very fast. Then what do? You make tea with less milk. So I come down with my milk level, then you come up with a bit with your non-milk level, then you take a bit of it. So normally that is what like conflict management is all about. You getting out of your comfort zone and the other person getting out of their comfort zone and meeting somewhere in the middle and trying to resolve that conflict for the benefit of your organization. I hope that's clear up to that point. So moving on, let's see. Let's define stress so that we can go to management at the same time or simultaneously. So stress normally is how we react to any situation. You know, sometimes you can come and say, today I'm so stressed. You should be asking yourself, what has stressed me? You know, what is making me react in this particular way? So stress is normally in our mind, and it's our body's response or reaction to a fear or an imagined threat, an event or a change. For example, if today you are told, say for example, like Lillian, who is based here in Nairobi, she's told, on Monday we are transferring you to Mombasa. I'd want you to think that's a very stressful situation, you know, because you'd be like, sasa nitaenda kuishi wapi? And maybe she has never even gone to Mombasa. Maybe she has children, I don't know. She'll be like, my child is at school or my children are at school. Then we need to transfer them to the school. I have a community that I really enjoy having around where I stay, or I have friends from the church and all this. Then all of a sudden you're being taken to an unfamiliar territory. You see, that stressful situation is out of an imagined fear. You know, Be like, because there are people in Mombasa. So if you're able to make friends in Nairobi, I don't see the big deal not moving because of friends. So it's an imagined situation or an imagined threat or an event or a change that you had not anticipated. That normally would cause stress. Then all these unimagined or imaginary things, they're called stressors, you know. So normally when I say, today I'm so stressed, I keep asking myself, what is stressing me? What is the stressor? You know, maybe I had a client meeting, they keep canceling or they keep rescheduling, then that becomes the stressor. The client is not the stress. That uncertainty of the schedule becomes the stressor. And I know many of us would want to associate stressors with people, you know. And I've had these people saying so much time, by the way, nani anakuanga stress. What does that mean? Someone cannot be as the stress. What they do is what is the stressing point. So let us, this is a learning point. I know I had not prepared for this, but since I'm here, let me just talk about it. Avoid terming people or things or situations as the stressors. Look at what that situation or what that person is doing that is causing the stress. That person is not the stress. What they are doing is what is the stress or the stressor. So stressors can be internal. They could be thoughts, beliefs, attitudes. Also, they could be external, something that is outside of you in terms of loss, tragedy, and change. You see all this transfer business, that is something that is outside of you, and it could be causing you stress. So let's see, how do we, effects of conflict. What I know, I know conflict. When conflict happens, what does it do to us as people? And we're at the workplace, don't forget. So from time to time, you're going to bump into each other's heads. From time to time, we'll not see an eye to eye, will not have the same viewpoint of things. So what are some of the effects of conflict? Number one is avoidance. Some people will want to avoid the whole situation. And you'll hear the workplace people saying, by the way, I don't talk to so-and-so. I'll be like, why don't you talk to so-and-so? Alinikosea. That kukosewa is the conflict. Then you need to go back and find out, what did she do or what did he do? Then how can we resolve it? Because avoidance can't really take you long. Like, I don't think avoidance will work for anyone at all. So the second one is inability to work together, especially when you're in a state of conflict. If you do avoidance, the next point is, then you're not able to work together. If you're in the same department, I see a lot of people saying, can you transfer me to another department? I can't work with those people in that department. What happens if you're the only expert in that department and you can't move? So that is one bad effect of conflict. The other one is verbal assault, people talking to each other the way they want, very unprofessional, maybe now it becomes abusive, you know, that is not good. Then another one is resentment. Resentment is you feel bad and you keep a grudge. That is resentment. Like you don't want to let things go. She wronged me, but I'm not willing to forgive her, and I will not forget about it. That is resentment. So all these causes us a great degree of discomfort, anger, frustration, sadness, and pain. So you see, from this particular slide, you'll see conflict is not good. I know sometimes conflict is good. Different philosophers will agree, but how you approach or how you resolve conflict is what makes it good or bad. But from the outlook of things, conflict is not good. It will not create a good or a conducive work environment. So moving on. So what causes conflict? What causes conflict? I've put so many. So maybe someone to help me read. The first one. If you're able to see my screen, you can help me read the first one. Stephen Gaiti, I know you're using a laptop, so help me read the first one. Anyone to help me read the first one, if you're able to see it? Yes, Edward.
There is a perceived breach of faith and trust between individuals.
Yes, yes, perceived. So this should be the underline, faith and trust. Someone has broken your faith in them or your trust in them. Lillian, kindly read for me the next one.
There is unresolved disagreements that has escalated to an emotional level.
Unresolved disagreements that has escalated to an emotional level. For example, I'll tell you, you tell someone, kindly write for me that report and share it immediately. Then after 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, they have not sent. What will you think? That is what someone would want to assume. The fact that you say someone now is demeaning you, now it has started getting to an emotional level. Very good. Thank you, Lillian. Next, someone to read for me the third point. Someone, please. I believe all of us can see. Victoria.
There's miscommunication leading to unclear expectations.
Yes, there's miscommunication leading to unclear expectations. Maybe when you are just having a chat with someone, you did not understand each other. So, and maybe they already left. So you see, they leave thinking you'll do the work and you did not even understand the initial instructions. Thank you so much, Victoria. Next one. Someone, please. Yes, John.
There are personality clashes.
Yes, there are personality clashes. And I believe our very first class, we started with personality traits. We have the red ones, the green ones, the blue ones, the yellow ones. The red ones, they think they're more superior than anyone else. The blue ones, they think they're very timid. So the red ones take advantage of the blue ones. So by the end of the day, there is a conflict based on personalities. Very well, thank you. Paulo, please read for me the next one.
Difference in acquired value.
Yes, differences in acquired values. And values are inherent. Inherent to mean either we were born with them or we grew up knowing a certain thing is good or a certain thing is bad. So you see, and this one also comes down to maybe the social cultural barriers. Maybe one thing is good in one community, one thing is not good in another community. So you see, when you come to the workplace, you bring all these different values, then there's a cause of conflict there. Thank you so much. Someone else to read for me. The next one. Andrew, I had seen you had unmuted yourself.
Yeah, underlying stress and tension.
Yes, there's underlying stress and tension. And sometimes this stress and tension, you can even see them on someone's face. And you even tell them, maybe in a joking manner, by the way, Leonaka stressed. So even by saying that, it's a potential that a conflict is going to arise from that. All right, the next one. Someone, Johnson.
There are ego problems.
Ego problems. And these ones are huge at the workplace. And even at home, I think so. We really need to check our ego, feeling superior over other people or thinking maybe you know it all and all that. And the last one is there are combinations of all the above. So you could find 1 and 2 is causing conflict, 2 and 3 is causing conflict, 6 and 1 is causing conflict and all that. So these are some of the causes of conflict. Then let's see how we are able to manage or resolve conflicts. Steps to conflict resolution. They look simple, but I know it's a lot of work. So let's see how that goes. Number one, or someone wants to read for me. Step one. Yes, Johnson.
Calm yourself.
Yes, calm yourself. Take a deep breath. I know, for me, I like telling people that take a deep breath, like take a walk. You know, I know people who smoke, they prefer to go and take a smoke, you know, just to calm themselves down. Okay, because by calming ourselves down helps us think reasonably, you know. These elements of emotions and all these, we are able to set them apart and think straight as it should be. The next one, someone please. If you can see it, you can read it. Yes, restore
order.
Yes, restore order. Yes, thank you so much, Tibebu. You need to restore order, you know, because I see sometimes whenever conflict is going on, people are shouting at each other, people are raising hands, people are walking out, people are stamping their feet. There's a lot of chaos that is happening. So you need to restore order. Then the next one. Chop, 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 chop. Today is Friday. We need to go to Naivasha. Yes, Johnson.
Hear the other side.
Yes, hear the other side. Because you can't resolve the conflict if you're the only person speaking. You need to listen and hear what they're saying on the other side. Joseph Njoroge, yes,
listen
please.
carefully.
Listen carefully. There's a difference between hearing and listening carefully. And I believe, I think in our series, we talked about active listening, you know, nodding your head, saying, okay, I hear what you're saying. What did you mean by saying that point? Meli, unatupa tu mastori. So listening carefully is another step on conflict resolution. The next one, someone, or Meli, where are you? Read for us the next point. Meli amepotea. Okay, someone else? Someone else, please, if you can see it. Yes, Johnston.
Generate solutions.
Generate solutions. Don't leave that conflict if you've not come up with a solution, you know, because now it will give you room to start getting emotional. So you need to be able to generate solutions. After you generate solutions, the next step is you agree on one solution. As you can see, this point means you have like many solutions, like 2, 3, 4, 5 solutions, but then you need to come and agree, like, this is the solution that we are agreeing to. Then test for satisfaction. Come back after a few days or a few hours and say, are we good, bro? Are we okay? Did we, how is that decision that you made? How is that solution working for you? Those are normally the steps towards conflict resolution. So in your next conflict, whether it's personal or at home or at work or wherever, try to use these steps and see if they're going to work. There are only 7 of them. So I think it's pretty easy to remember. When you're in conflict, calm yourself, restore order, hear the other side, listen carefully, generate solutions, agree on the solutions, and come back to see if that solution is working. All right. So moving on. These are some of the key points to remember whenever we talk about conflict resolution or conflict management. One is be a role model, be a model of calm and control. Make sure you're not able to raise your voice or get very emotional or abusive. Always remember to remain calm and in control. The next one, which I think I've already said, don't give in into emotional outbursts. You know, I see, and this, maybe I see it a lot with women. Whenever they're in control with a man or in a superior, with someone who is more superior, they resolve to crying. I really don't know why that happens, but whenever I call women for a disciplinary matter, they always end up crying. I feel bad about it, but I'm like, this is work. Let's get serious. So don't give in into emotional outbursts. The next one is do not assume people are being difficult intentionally. And you can remember Nancy said, no one wakes up in the morning and says, today I'm going to be difficult. No, it's the situation that they are put in that makes them difficult, you know. So don't just assume Purity is just a difficult person to work with. Find out what is making me become difficult to work with. Then the next one is find a quiet place to resolve conflict privately. Make sure you don't do conflicts in public. You know, if you're in disagreement with someone, call them outside, call them aside, take them for a walk. You know, when they're going for lunch, and tell them, by the way, let's go and have lunch somewhere else. Let us talk on our differences and all that. So that is conflict resolution for you. Any question before I move on to the last part for stress management? Okay, let me give you a few tips for conflict. Ground rules. These are very basic, and these are also tips. You know, number one, no raising of voices. Regardless of how mad you feel you are, do not raise your voice. You know, just remain calm. The way you talk normally, even when you're in conflict, no one should know that you're in conflict because you're just talking the way you normally do. So the next one, this is not a debate. There's no one who is wrong. There's no one who is right. So you're just having a normal conversation. You're listening. After the other party is done talking, you also listen. You listen. They finish talking. Then you start talking. You also listen until you are done. Then you are able to easily come up with a solution. Instead, when it's a talking match, you know, it's a shouting match, I don't think that will resolve any conflict. The next one is only speak for yourself. I am upset with this situation. Not saying you upset me, that is attacking. But when you say I, it means like unakubali, ni mimi, like you're taking responsibility and ownership. So you should at all times, and also try this not only for conflict resolution, but also try it in your other conversations in life. When you feel like you want to say, you do this, you do this, turn it back to you and say, I like my things done in a particular way. You'll find like conversations move much more smoother when you start with you, other than you start with attacking someone else. So try the I perspective of conversations. The next one is confront the issues. The issue are not the person or the people. Because, for example, if there's a delay in delivering an order, don't say, watu wa delivery ndio wanafanyanga hii shida yote. It's not the issue. I don't think it is really with people who deliver. I think the issue is with the processes or the system around delivering, you know. Because, for example, I don't know if you have these challenges. You get to work on time, the vehicle is there, it is well serviced, but there's no fuel. You know, what will you say? How watu wa accounting ndio watupeangi pesa on time? Stop looking at conflict as people. Look at it as the issue. The issue here is we do not have fuel. Why could that be an issue at this point? Maybe the request was not raised on time, you know, and maybe even if it was raised on time, maybe there were no funds available. So stop pointing issues to people, but concentrate or focus on the issue at hand and not the person involved. The last one is maintain or enhance self-esteem. Whenever you're in conflict, don't leave a conversation when you feel like you've made the other person feel bad or inferior, or even for yourself. Don't leave that conversation if you feel like you are not the way you came in. So always maintain or even enhance your own self-esteem and the esteem of others. Any questions so far? Before we move to the last bit now for stress. Any question, any question? All right, the last bit before we go to Naivasha. All right, different sources of stress, social, how we interact with our friends, our social lives. I know they could give us a lot of stress. Our careers as well. Either you want to grow your career, you want to move, you want a promotion, you want all these in terms of your career. They could be stressors. Spirituality, this has to do a lot with either religion or lack of religion. How you relate with a superior being, you know. Family is also a huge stress factor to a lot of people. So that's also another source of stress. Intellectual, in terms of our learnedness, you know, how we know things, how we interpret things. Maybe you want to go back for a degree, you want to go back for a master's, you want to do like a diploma. All these could be causing you a lot of stress. Finances, I know, all of us, I don't think even the richest person doesn't get stressed because of finances. I would want to assume they get stressed. Our health, especially when it is compromised, it could also cause a huge stress to us. I think I've repeated spirituality twice, so forgive me for that. So these are some of the factors or some of the sources of stresses in our lives. And as you can see, some are work related, others are personal related. So somehow, and I keep saying or telling myself, all of us as human beings, you cannot separate this is life, this is work, this is family. Somehow we end up meshing up together. So you see, if one part of your life is stressed, say if your financial part is stressed, you are able to spread that stress to the other facets of your life. You know, if your health is compromised, then all these other spaces are going to feel the stress of it, you know, because if you're not healthy, for example, if you're ill, I would want to assume you're not able to go to work. If you're not able to go to work, your finances are going to be interfered with. Your family are not happy because they are either empathetic that you're very sick and all that. You're not able to attend to your spiritual matters and all that. So as human beings, we need to be able to get to a point of balance. You know, all these spaces of our lives we can't say or we cannot avoid stress. But they're in a state of balance where even if one part of our life is stressed, it does not affect or interfere with the other parts of our lives. So let's see how to manage stress. Our steps to stress management. So these are very basic steps. There are 5 of them. The first one is identify if you are stressed. You need to find out, am I stressed or am I not stressed? You know, and the first indicator of being stressed is normally you even tell yourself, hey, leo niko na stress. So that should be telling you you are in a stressful situation. So once you identify if you're stressed or not, then the next step is to identify the stressor. What is stressing you? And as I've said, stressors are not people, they are situations, you know. So you need to find out, even if it's your child that is stressing you, what is it about your child that is stressing you? If it's your boss that is stressing you, you need to find out what is it about the boss that is stressing me, you know, because he could have asked for a report and maybe you're not ready to give that report yet. Then the stressor is the report and not the boss. I would want to think it from that perspective, because if you link stressors to people, then you'll be stressed with a lot of people, you know, yet these should be just issues that are stressing you. Then identify the reason for the stressor. Sorry, there's an error there. It is identify the reason for the stressor. Why is it stressing me? For example, if it's the boss who keeps requesting for a report, then the reason of the report being a stressor is because you have not been able to deliver the report. Then select an appropriate stress management strategy and apply it. We are going to look at a stress management strategy shortly. So you need to find out what works best. So for example, if it's a report and it's what is stressing you, I think the best way to get that report out of your way is to work on it and share it with your boss. And that stress is over, you know. Then you need to reevaluate. Then you need to ask yourself, this time this report really stressed me. Then for me, I'll want to have a conversation with my manager and ask him or her, when do you normally want the report? By 10th? Okay. Can I be giving you by 9th so that in case there are any changes you are able to make? They'll be like, yes, that's very good. It will help us avoid the last minute rush. So that is steps to stress management. There are only 5. So I would want to ask you, even if you're not intentional about managing your stress, you can easily take the 5 steps very fast and be able to address the stresses in your life. So the next one, oh, really? I think we've come to the end of our class today. So I think we've actually come to the end of it. So thank you so much. I want to appreciate all of us who are able to join us this Friday afternoon. Any questions so far on either today's topic or on all the 6 that we have covered so far since we started 3 weeks ago? Any question? Are you happy? Are we still together? Are we stressed? Someone talk to me, please. Yes, thank you so much, Jessica. We appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much. Anyone who has anything to say, this is your time before we close. Anyone? Andrew, Stephen, Lillian, talk to me, guys.
For me, I'm just grateful for the sessions. I have really grasped a lot, and I am definitely not the same person who started with you at the beginning. There's a lot I've really picked up, and I am looking forward to putting them into action in my area, and I really look forward to a difference from now and before the whole training. I'm just really grateful. Thank you so much, Spirit, for your time. I'm really, really thankful.
Thank you so much, Lillian, for that. Let's hear feedback from someone else. Anyone? Stephen Gaiti, I see you are unmuted.
Thank you, Purity. We appreciate, we have learned a lot. We have realized that selling or a salesman is not just going and closing a deal.
Yeah.
There is a lot, there is the emotions, there is the relationship, there is the intelligence, there is the PR. We really appreciate it. It was a holistic approach, and we hope we will be able to implement at least, if not all, but most of what we have learned, we put it into practice.
Awesome.
Very rarely we salespeople are gathered like this for a learning session. We really appreciate for that input, and we believe that we shall be having more of these trainings They are really very helpful. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you so much, Stephen Gaiti. I'll give one more person or two more people if any wants to talk now. I've seen a few comments from Tibebo. It was really very interesting. Thank you so much, Stephen Gaiti. Great input. We'll implement everything that you've learned. Paulo, you did not speak to us today. I don't know why. So, but you're saying very educative. You're now well equipped. So having come to the end of this session, we'll give you certificates of participation. So make sure, I think I'll just have to liaise with Jessica and Gerald to share with us the names that you want to be on your certificate. So be on the lookout for the certificates. I know you'll not only use the certificate at Amiran, but anywhere else that you're able to move on, whether for your career or for your personal growth. So, but it has been very interesting 6 sessions. I now add you to a portfolio, of people that we have trained over the years. And I'm very, very happy and excited just to see what more holds for us in terms of business with Amiran and also impact on people. I'll be excited also to get feedback from you guys, after a few months. And I will want you to come back and say, by the way, the training that you did for us, it has really worked for us as an organization. It has worked for me as a person and all that. So that's my sole prayer and wish for you guys at Amiran, and continue with the same spirit. You almost challenged me to become a farmer, I keep telling myself I'm a city girl, but now I think I have to relook the whole agribusiness perspective. But I want to say thank you so much, and God bless you all. I hope to see you around. Thank you so much, Paris. You're saying it was very informative and you hope to implement it. The same for Carol. You're requesting for the soft copies for the training. I'm not so sure if you received these emails. Like, I think on Sunday or on Saturday, we sent out an email with the training sessions from 1 to 4. I really hope you received it. If not, I think I can just reshare the whole email again, including today's and Wednesday's session all together. Boniface, you're saying it was very enlightening. You are now a changed person. I really hope you are, and you remain changed for life. So I think that is it. Okay, yes, I will include everything in the next email that I send out, all the 6 sessions, so that you can, I think, have all of them in one email. So Stephen Gaiti, pleasant presenters, good mastery of content, and quite interactive. So thank you so much, all of you. Make sure you say hi to me if we meet on the streets. I'm told my voice is very unique. So just in case you hear my voice anywhere, just Nismamisha, tell me. I think I know that voice from somewhere. So I think that is it. Enjoy your evening, enjoy your Friday, enjoy your weekend. I really pray and hope for a very productive week or weeks moving forward, now that you're more equipped than we started a few weeks ago. So thank you so much, and God bless you all. Good evening.
Thank you so much, Purity.
Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you, Purity, for the best training for us.
Thank you.
We are really very thank you. Okay, bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Purity.
Thank you, Stephen Gaiti. Thank you, Johnson.